She did that on purpose.
Mr. Mayor, we're recording.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I close out the participant panel. Okay, I'd like to call to order the City of Sumner Council meeting. The date is December 7th and the time is 6:01. As a reminder to everyone, as we have for the last several months, that we're attending this meeting virtually as the City Hall is closed during the Safe Start order of Governor Inslee as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The meeting is open to the public via the Zoom link, and call-in information is posted on the city's website and is included in the council members packet. So with that, I would ask you to join with me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I didn't hear too many of the rest of you. Okay, that's just a reminder in the future. Join in the chorus. Okay, and with that, we will turn it over to Pam Osborne for the invocation. Pam Osborne.
Will you join with me in prayer? Gracious God, in a time when it feels more dark and despair than light and hopeful, we ask that you show us those places of light that come from friendship, that come from peace, that comes from giving and understanding. And may that wisdom of light, particularly listening to one another, bless and guide this council tonight as they work together for our community. Amen.
Thank you very much, Pam. You're welcome to stick around. Or does Monday Night Football, or do they play? I don't even know if they're playing tonight. I have no idea.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have another Zoom meeting with a church that needs some help. So I'm going to go over there and see what I can do.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Well, and happy holidays. And for me, Merry Christmas to all of you.
Okay. Thanks, Pam.
Bye.
Okay. Michelle, would you please call the roll?
Tato?
Here.
Brown?
Here.
Hayden?
Here.
Hochstetter?
Here.
Newman?
Here.
Peterson?
Here.
Reed?
Here.
All council members are present. And with that, we move on to a special presentation for Council Member Peterson, who's bailing on us. But for very, very good reasons. And this is her last council meeting. And just by way of some background, to tell you that between the city's website and LinkedIn, you get the rundown on a lot of things. And let me share a few things. First of all, she's been with us since starting in January of 2018. And so she's completing 3 years. Now you're on the CD committee and you're on the public safety committee, and you're also a representative on the Rainier Cable Commission. But I can't remember in the past whether you were on other council committees. You couldn't. Okay, so those are the ones that you've stuck with. And in addition to that, she's also it was part of the Sumner Bonnie Lake School District Equity Advisory Council. So that's just some of the things involving the city. She's worked for Terra, UWT, and I probably screw up some of these names here, Melanie, but Paladina, is that right?
Palladino.
Oh, Palladino. So much for my writing. And then Northwest Custom Interiors, Dawson Design, and Mulvaney G2 Architecture. So if you look at all that background, she brought to the council a wealth of expertise having to do with design issues, infrastructure issues, and that will be missed. But from my standpoint, what she brought to the council was she was sort of the council's voice for the need to look at DEI issues, diversity, equity, and inclusion, long before it was a national movement as a result of some terrible things that happened out there. And Melanie was always an advocate there and became even more of an advocate, with the national focus. And I have just really always respected and appreciated, that. So in addition to all the design sense and everything else, you also brought, a passion in terms of treating people equally, fairly, and including them. And that's a great combination, to have. And sorry to see you go. Glad for the things that you've accomplished, but I know that you'll go on and do other great things in that Midwestern state where you're going to be. Before I get the plaque out here, and there is a plaque that I'm going to try to show you on the screen here. I'd open it up for any other council members if they would like to make any comments. Either raise your hands or wave at me or just start speaking, whatever. Go ahead, Charlotte.
Hold on, I'm going to hit a different button. Sorry. So I was expecting this part to come at the end of the meeting.
We can save it towards the end of the meeting. I just give her plaque now and presentations, and we can make comments at the end.
Okay, I'll make my tribute at the end.
Okay, so what we can do is you guys be thinking about it. That gives you some time to prepare, and but I will bring up the plaque right now. And I practiced this beforehand. I can't guarantee it's gonna work, but here it is.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, and I can't read it on my screen this far away, but I can if I turn it around. And City of Central Washington, and there's a quote from Sarah Gideon: "Whether we realize it or not, we benefit from the work of public sector employees in our state, county, and municipal governments every day." Now, I know you guys all realize that, but it's just a reminder that so many people out there don't realize the contributions from elected officials and everything that they do. So it's in recognition of Melanie Peterson, the City of Sumner, its residents, council, and staff. Thank you for your many contributions. And it's, I think it's yeah. It even has a mounting bracket on the back.
Ready to go.
Yeah,
Great.
so just like everything else right now, this will be coming via some kind of delivery service, whether it's the U.S. Postal Service or UPS or FedEx or whatever it is. But we will get it to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, Charlotte, good suggestion. Wait till the end, and then you can roast her. Okay. With that, let's move on to the consent agenda. And I would ask Michelle if she would read the consent agenda.
Item number 1, approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting of November 16th, 2020, November 30th, 2020 study session, and November 30th, 2020 special council meeting. Item 2, River Grove Pedestrian Bridge Consultant Services Contract for Design. Item 3, Salmon Creek Restoration Acquisition 2, Jorgensen. Item 4, Loyalty Park Inclusive Playground Installation Project Acceptance. Item 5, COVID-19 Emergency Declaration, Confirmation of Rules and Regulations. Item 6, Resolution number 1571, Interlocal Agreement between the cities of Bonnie Lake, Buckley, Ording, Sumner, and Puyallup, and the towns of Carbonado, South Prairie, and Wilkeson.
Thank you very much, Michelle. And I was going to ask if there's anybody that would like to remove any item on the consent agenda for separate consideration. And I will recognize Councilmember Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to remove item number 4, Loyalty Park Inclusive Playground Installation Project Acceptance.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilmember Pat. How's that? Other items that somebody wants to remove from the consent agenda for separate consideration? Okay, that being the case, could I get a motion by the Deputy Mayor to approve the consent agenda items, including 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6?
Yes, I move to adopt the consent agendas number 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 as read.
Okay, could I get a second by Councilmember Hochstetter?
Yes, I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, before you, you have the consent agenda for items number 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. All those in favor of adopting the consent agenda with the exception of item number 4, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Okay, the consent agenda is adopted with the exception of item number 4. And item number 4 involving Loyalty Park Inclusive Playground Installation Project Acceptance. I would go to Councilmember Reed for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt item 20-168, Loyalty Park Inclusive Playground Installation Project Acceptance.
Thank you very much. Could I get a second by Councilmember Hochstetter?
Yes, I'll second that.
Thank you very much. I would call on Community Development Manager Derek Berry. Go ahead, Derek.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Pretty excited to be here tonight to talk to you about the Loyalty Park Inclusive Playground installation. Thank you for your support and believing in this project. I think it's a great asset to the community. It started about a year and a half ago discussing this project. We did an amendment to the budget. Construction started about a week before the shutdown of COVID. So got right to it, and then it just sat vacant for a while. We had some delays and struggles with scheduling that part moving forward with the both ourselves and the out-of-state vendor. And as you've hopefully seen, the playground is now done and looks absolutely amazing. I do have some pictures if you would like to see them, if I can share the screen. And I always screw up the PowerPoint, so I'm going to go ahead and do this with just the Adobe here. So this is Weston here. He's the star of our pictures we posted on Instagram. This is called a Freedom Swing. He had a great time out here. As you can see in the background, we've got the poured in place. It actually looks like grass from here. Really manicured grass, to be exact. We have 2 of the normal belt swings, 2 tot seats, the Freedom Swing, and then a connection swing where you can actually have 2 people in there, a caregiver and a child facing each other. Is a pretty popular item. Next up, we have, obviously with COVID, we had our workers out here with the masks, some delays. We did storm improvements. So from this angle, you're going to see the before, during, and after. So this is from the northeast corner, looking towards where the old tree was. This was during construction, and this was last Friday. There were probably 20, 25 people out there. These are the different benches, roll up for ADA accessibility. We have the music and chimes and drums over here, a lot of ramping so that kids can get to the different items. We have an at-grade carousel spinner here. So if a child's in a wheelchair, they can actually go right onto it without getting out of their wheelchair, so they can stay comfortable and they get the motion and sense from that. Then we have another spinning item here. So we also have our newest swing that didn't get installed until after we opened. It's called the Velito. You can see 4 or 5 kids playing on it at a time. So it's a pretty fun swing. So this is kind of what this project was all about, in my opinion. This was on our Instagram, Where Now Project posted it, and just was very thankful and gave a shout out to the city of Sumner for doing this. So really excited. I think it's a great asset to the community. I'm really proud of all the work that was done for it, with all the both work in-house with our Public Works and Parks crew and with the vendor. So I'm going to stop sharing screen here, and I can go over the figures if you'd like on the contract, but the Buell Recreation has finished everything that was in the contract. We're just waiting on their prevailing wages affidavit, and then we can send their last invoice. Does anyone have any questions on it?
Any council members have any questions for Derek or comments? Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, Derek, for coming on and speaking about this a little bit. It's been an amazing project, and I have to say it's probably been one of the more popular ones as far as feedback that I've been getting just out and about or social media or anyplace else, people really love not only the fact that it's updated and fresh, but the fact that it includes the accessibility options, which has been really appreciated by several people in the community. And I wanted to, the reason I pulled it off or asked to remove from consent agenda was to not only bring some attention to it, but to celebrate that project. It was a great feat, great job on getting it put together and executed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Reed. Any other council members that would like to talk about this particular issue? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of adopting item number 4, Loyalty Park Inclusive Playground Installation Project Acceptance, please.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Just a point of order. Normally we'd ask for public comment on this since it got pulled off of consent.
Okay, good point. Okay, I do notice we have a number of attendees here, and if you would like to address this item, since it has been pulled off the consent agenda, please use the raise your hand feature, or I believe it's *9, is that correct? On your phone if you're calling in, and we will recognize you and you can address the council. So either use the raise the hand feature or *9 on your phone if you're calling in. Okay, seeing or hearing none, all those in favor of adopting the Loyalty Park Inclusive Playground Installation Project Acceptance, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Okay, the project is accepted. Nice job, Mr. Berry. Please compliment the other staff that was involved. It's a huge asset to the community.
Will do. Thank you.
You're
Have a good night.
very welcome. Okay, that brings us to public hearing. We do not have a public hearing, so we'll move on to regular business under unfinished business. First one we have is ordinance number 2758, which is the 2021 and 22 biennial budget. And I would ask the deputy mayor for a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2758, adopting the 2021 and 2022 biennial budget.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Could I call on Councilmember Reed for a second?
I second that motion.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll call on Chief Financial Officer Cassandra Raymond. Cassandra.
Good evening, everyone. So here we are. Before you this evening is ordinance number 2758, adopting the 2021-2022 biennial budget. With the commencement of the COVID-19 pandemic in early 2020, staff was asked to develop a conservative and fiscally prudent status quo budget while still setting the standard of excellence for a progressive small city. The city presented the biennial budget for January 1, 2021 through December 31, 2022 to City Council and the community. Although due to COVID, access to City Hall is currently restricted, the budget was made available to the public via the city's official website and the city's Sumner Connects project pages. Through the development of the budget, we've worked hard to balance our strategic goals with fiscal responsibility. While the pandemic has changed the way we do some things, it's not changed our commitment to our services and our goals. So when we start with developing our budget, we start with our basic mission to provide needed and valued services that promote our sense of community. We also make sure as we're going through our budget development that we can tie back our budget actions to our City Council strategic priorities: a safe and efficient transportation system, protection of water, open spaces, and natural resources, long-range financial stability to provide a balance of city services, and enhance our community character. What a budget does. A budget really is valuable. It's one of the most important documents that we adopt. It expresses our community's priorities and our council's policy direction, identifies our resources as well as our expenditures, guides our program management, responds to change, and provides the flexibility to meet our public needs in changing financial circumstances. Through this budget process, we started this budget in early January and had to make an adjustment to our budget process and our expectations on how that budget was going to go in the process due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Throughout the spring and summer, departments developed our budget requests and reviewed them with the city administrator and the mayor. In Sumner as well, we developed our utility rate model that's a component of our budget. September and October reviewed our preliminary budget over 5 public meetings, and in November held 2 public hearings for our budget. When we take a look at our budget, we can see that our overall budget, is $124 million, $473,699. I've actually got that number running through my dreams about this point. And we can see how that's split out among our funds. When we look at our general fund, we see general fund revenues of $31,643,467. You can see the largest component of the revenues into our general fund is our sales tax number, followed by property tax, various utility taxes, and then a variety of other revenue sources. We have $31,919,065 in expenditures over the biennium for our general fund. Of course, the biggest component of that is our salaries and wages. Our staff is one of our most valuable resources, and that's reflected in our budget. And again, as we go through our budget preparation, we are providing a needed and valued services that promote our sense of community. I am happy tonight to present the budget to you for adoption.
Thank you very much, Cassandra. Okay, questions, comments council members have on the 2021-2022 biennial budget. Councilmember Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just once again want to thank Cassandra and each of the departments and their teams and the city as a whole. I think this final piece is a well-thought budget. It's fiscally responsible, and it maintains the city services that are loved and expected by our residents. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Councilmember Reed. Other council member comments or questions? Councilmember Brown.
Yep. I'd also like to thank Ms. Raymond for all your work. And I'm sorry that you have to dream numbers. I'd also like to thank everybody else that has a part in the process. Thanks.
Thanks, Councilmember Brown. Yeah, if I was dreaming about those numbers, it would be in the nightmare category, but with Cassandra, it truly is a dream. Let's see, was that you, Councilmember Boteto, that raised your hand? Go ahead.
I just know that with all the uncertainty this year, that the whole city staff has come together to find ways, not to expect, bigger numbers in their budget. And I think they've been working hard to, deal with what we have, because, if we don't get sales tax revenue and other revenues, it's, difficult to, make this whole budget work. And we do have to, we can't just print money up like other government agencies might. So I think Cassandra and her finance department really are doing a great job. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Boteto. Councilmember Newman.
I would, for general public, like to remind and highlight the fact that some of the reasons why we were able to do so well during a pandemic is because of the gains that we basically almost supplemental income revenue through projects that we were doing in town, like traffic avenue improvements. And I just wanted to highlight the importance of being able to permit projects like that and get state funding for projects like that and moving forward, and that it actually makes a difference in more ways than one, both in the improvements that we will see, but to have a functional permitting city also generates revenue for a city. And I think probably this year highlighted that more than most. And then the other thing is just a tremendous thank you to Cassandra Raymond and Jeff Stevens and other finance staff. I feel like it is the most transparent committee that I sit on in which I've ever participated, and that I'm just so grateful that I feel like all of our entire community should be reassured by the public interest that they always prioritize.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, other council members? Okay, I would echo the comments that you've all made, from the city administrator Wilson on down. I've just watched him go through the budget process, and after 40 some years in the municipal side, I am truly amazed at the capabilities of the staff as they deal with the challenges that they've been faced, especially this year, and able to work through them. And you're right, Councilmember Newman, to continue to keep processes in place virtually, but keep them in place, keep on getting, incredible grants that keep us moving along and help us budget wise and help us project wise and helps the community. So yeah, great job done by all. Just make sure I don't get in trouble with Robert's rules. In this one, we've had a couple of hearings, and so I do not believe that we will allow any public comment at this time. Okay, I got that one right. Okay, that being the case and seeing no other comments being made by the council, Michelle, would you please call the roll?
Peterson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
Hochstetter,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Potato.
Yes.
Okay, the 2021-22 biennial budget is adopted unanimously. Again, thank you very much, Cassandra, and pass on thanks to the rest of your staff, and Jason, pass on thanks to all the other departments as well. Great job.
Thank you. This really was an effort by everyone on this call and everyone in the buildings, and I can't thank everyone enough for the way that we've pivoted to address this. And I'm gonna go do a happy dance.
Yeah, well, anybody that sends out emails in the middle of the night and throughout the weekends, I don't know, we're gonna maybe have to slip you a sleeping pill or something, to get you through the night. So anyway, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to public comment. And before we get into any instructions, the public was encouraged to submit comments to the city clerk by email before tonight's meeting. And I would first ask Michelle whether they received any comments that need to be read into the record.
No, Mr. Pugh.
Okay. That being the case, there are people that are attending tonight's meeting. And again, in fact, one of them has raised their hand. So what I would like to do is have Michelle please read the instructions for public comment.
Now is the time for the public to comment on matters that are not on the agenda. If you're attending the meeting via Zoom, please raise your hand. Please use the raise your hand feature under the participants tab in the bottom right. Or if you're participating telephonically, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. Please wait to be called on by the mayor before you unmute your computer, audio, or telephone. You will have 3 minutes. Please begin your comments by stating your name and address for the record. As a reminder, this portion of the meeting is the council's opportunity to hear from the community and not a time to engage in debate.
Thank you very much, Michelle. And I would again remind people that this is to address the council on any issues that are not on the agenda. The first one I'm going to call on is Michael Pate. I hope I got that right, Michael. And you should be unmuted and you should be able to address the council.
Can you hear me now, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, I can, Michael.
Excellent. You got my name correct. Thank you very much. All right. The reason I'm calling, I'm Michael Pate. I am with Amarok Security Systems in Columbia, South Carolina. I have 4 businesses there that have contacted us to secure their businesses. We basically operate a battery-powered, alarmed electric security fence. And those businesses are also on the call today. We have engaged the city, and we're kind of confused as to exactly how to proceed here to do this. We've received some very unusual rules for alarm installations. I think the city is basically declaring us a fence, which we are not, even though we kind of look like one, and that's the way we sell ourselves. We are really not. We're actually a monitored alarm system. So we're just looking for a little help here to expedite the installation of these security systems to protect these businesses. And the businesses are, and pardon me for not pronouncing these properly, Patelco at 1216 140th, Sefnico at 4610 Tacoma, Cummins at 1800 Friar, and Poulsboro RV at 2014 136th. So those are the folks who are also on the line with me to basically explain what their businesses are and the problems they face today with theft and people breaching their perimeter over there. If you got any questions from me about how we work and operate, I'd be glad to answer those questions for you. But I'm going to give it up to the folks who actually do business in your town and let them tell you exactly what their problems are here in the city as far as theft in their business is concerned.
Okay. Melanie, I don't know whether you're, oh, okay, never mind. Got it. Okay, thank you, Michael. And I've got several people, and I could, Mark, you've raised your hand. And I think I've unmuted you, so go ahead.
Hi, I'm Mark Swanson. I'm the president of Patelco. We're located at 14103 Stewart Road, and we do have an Airmark electric guard dog security system. We've had it for 5 years or so, and it circles our entire property there, which is about four acres. Prior to that, we were experiencing break-ins through our chain link fence on a regular basis. And since the installation of the security system, we have not had one instance of a break-in. It's been, really wonderful. Our costs have, stayed down, and we haven't had any instances. This is a system that really runs itself. Haven't had any issues, and now we have just are looking at we've signed a lease for a building 2 blocks away. Have a very much smaller yard. We're ready to move in and have our crews there. But again, with the amount of criminal activity out there, we are very concerned without having this fence in that we will just be culling the city and losing equipment and being vandalized. So we're really asking the council's help in expediting the permitting process. We're ready to move in, but we need that fence in order to protect our equipment. So, anyone have any questions about what we currently have?
I don't see anybody from the council raising their hands. I see we have 2 more people.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Sean Collins. Yeah, go ahead, sir. Unmute yourself.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for taking the call.
Thank you.
My name is Sean Collins. I'm the general manager for Sefnico Communications. We're at 4610 Tacoma Avenue. Sefnico has been around for several decades. Most of you know Mr. Nall. He's an avid member of the community and contributes at great lengths. We have supported local business for years, especially this year during COVID. I have constantly kept coffee shops in business by purchasing large amounts of gift certificates to send my staff of over 200 people to frequent them, sandwich shops, local businesses. In the past 18 months, we have had a theft of over $200,000. One of them you saw in the news, which was a mini excavator. Luckily enough, the criminal was dumber than anyone else and fell asleep in his driveway and was caught by the police, thank goodness. We recovered the excavator. We lost a $26,000 fiber jet machine. 2 nights ago, we had someone break into the fence line again and completely destroy a fiber reel, which is designed for head-end equipment. This is to help the community with their internet, so we can speed up things during the COVID to reduce the capacity of all the people that are trying to get online for online schooling and businesses and such. Over these past months, we've had a theft break-in every month this year since January. They come through our back fence. Our back fence comes along off of 142nd Avenue, which is just beside the City of Summer maintenance shop. They come through the park area and the bike trail. The only section of fencing that we're looking to secure better is that particular area. Very little visibility to the public in general. There's no drive-by eyesight soreness. As this is described as a non-fence, it really is a non-fence, but it's a better security measure. I've added several security cameras. One of the thefts took place in the morning when I had a crew on site on a Saturday morning to get ready for a job. And in the video, you see a person ducking behind the trucks. And as we pulled away, he stole a $3,500 quarry machine. It's a bigger drill that we use to do work into the buildings. Last year, I don't know if many of you remember the Ruth Clark story, which is an elderly lady who had a power pole fall on her property, and she was out of power up till Thanksgiving. We actually partnered with Patelco, and we were able to get a pole, get it set for Miss Clark's house so she can actually have Thanksgiving and power out there, because the power was on private property. The pole was owned by her. Had the criminal come in and stolen our bit needed to help do that job, we would not have been able to go out there to do this type of work for that particular person. We are constantly donating in the community's realm. And currently this year, we've already purchased over 3,000 socks to donate to the local shelters, because right now that's a big drive in the community. We are a tremendous asset for the community. And like mentioned earlier, we're just looking to secure our property better. The more thefts I have from my facility, that's less money I can participate with in events when I have the revenue to go. I'm fully supported by the executive leadership of Sefenco, but my hands become tied as I start to lose these big expense items and have to replace them. So I'm asking you for the same consideration to please allow us to secure our back property fence, to stop the constant break-ins that were happening on at least a monthly basis, if not times several times in a month. And for that, I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Sean. I also see that Brad Martin has raised his hand, and I just unmuted you. So go ahead, Brad. Okay, you're not coming through, Brad. And it doesn't show you as being muted. Okay, it looks like Brad may be running into technical difficulties. Michael, could you come back and mute yourself? I guess I should ask is, you mentioned there was 4 people. You had Patelco, Sefenco, Cummings, and Paulsbo. And I don't know where Brad is, but is there anybody else on the call that I've missed? I see Bruce McDonald. Okay, Bruce, I've just unmuted you. Can you unmute yourself and address the council?
Yes, sir. Thank you, council, for taking the time to meet with me today. Brad Martin is my service manager here at Paulsbo RV. He had the detailed list of dollar amounts and list of activities that we've seen at our sites here. The main problem we've had here in the past and have had company-wide is, as you can imagine, with recreational vehicles, they have a lot of components inside of electronics, and they tend to run from $10,000 to somewhere to $500,000. We are consistently having problems almost on a daily basis with people trying to enter the site and steal, as you can imagine, TVs, RVs. We've had in 2019, we averaged about $21,000 a month in expenses for repairs, fence repairs, customers' vehicles, replacing TVs, replacing units, insurance claims, lawsuits, etc. We have 5 locations within the Puget Sound area. We've had the facilities that have established this Amarok's security system have went from an average of $21,000 a month in cost to $0. It has completely stopped the theft problems that we have had, and the expense problems that we've had. So I would appreciate if the council would consider us the installation of this security system on our property.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Okay, is there anybody else? We had Mark, we had Sean, we have Bruce, and we had Michael. Anybody else that would like to address the council on this particular issue? Okay, so I'm going to go back to Michael, and I guess you got the right people on the call. I mean, the city council obviously and myself are interested, in the issue. The losses that you're talking about are incredible. You're all vital businesses within the Sumner community, but you have the right staff here, on this call that are listening to this thing, listening to the issues that you're describing, that that can get you the answers. And what I would suggest is we get the contact information from you, Michael, and we get that to City Administrator Wilson, and that he coordinated with the appropriate department heads to find out, okay, what is the issue and how do we address the issue so we can, address the theft problem that you're all facing. Jason, I'm assuming I'm getting sort of a head nod from you. I'm assuming that would be the right approach.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, if Mr. Pate could put his contact information in the chat, either email or phone number, we'll have Mr. Beagle follow up with you. It does sound like this is a unique situation where you're trying to install what looks like a fence, but it's also an alarm system. So we need to work through those issues, and we're happy to do that with you all. So once again, Mr. Pate, if you can put your contact information in the chat feature.
Okay, thank you very much. I was actually in the middle of doing that when you threw up the little icon there to get me to speak again. So yes, I'll be getting that through to you. My staff in Columbia, I'm out in Illinois right now. I just left another city council meeting out in Illinois. So I'm actually in a hotel room. So pardon me for any, technical glitches that I might impale myself on. But I will get that to you, Mr. Wilson. Thank you very much, all of you, for listening to these folks. We're just trying to stop crime here. It's a great thing for the city. The cops don't have to go there anymore, write reports, do investigations. I would like to say I stopped crime cold, but I only stopped crime on that one particular spot. Criminals are pretty smart guys. They just moved to another spot. But we're just basically protecting these folks that have a lot of very valuable inventory that they store outdoors. It's very easy to see. And for a criminal to walk by and basically take inventory during the daytime and come up there in the evening and do their little deeds. So we really appreciate all y'all listening to us today. And we will work diligently with you folks to see if we can get all this done in an expedited manner.
Great. Thank you very much, Michael. I'm going to call on Councilmember Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you everyone for bringing that up to our attention. I also want to thank Mayor Pugh and City Administrator Wilson for committing to communicate with staff as needed to try and arrange anything that might need to be done. And I also, if I can be of any help as far as if council involvement is needed at some point, I'd be happy to participate.
Thank you, Councilmember Reed. Any other council members, any comments or questions? Okay. Councilmember Boteto.
Yeah, I mean, I just know how important the businesses are to, our bottom line as far as the budget, especially, we're pleased that Paulsbo RV has moved into the community, but the other businesses that spoke this evening are quite important because, we do collect sales tax and that does help with our budget. So if we can, anything we can do to make the process work, I think we should, work at that. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Boteto. Okay, so checking the chat. Okay, we'll make sure, Michael, to get that information in the chat. And I know, and I appreciate your technical challenges of being in a hotel room and trying to navigate all that. But if you're not successful, just go on your website and you will find the city administrator's phone number.
Mayor, I can actually give Mr. Beagle's phone number directly out too.
Okay, I think that'd be a good thing to do. Go ahead.
So Doug Beagle is our Development Services Director. His phone number is 253-299-5715. Once again, 299-5715.
And that's Doug Beagle as in the dog.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, thank you all for, going over what's happening out there and how it's affecting you. And I'm sure we can work through it and, try to address these theft issues in a pretty quick manner. Okay, is there anybody else that is on the call tonight that would like to address the council on any issue that isn't on the agenda? Please either raise your hand or *9 if you're calling in. Okay, okay. Thank you, Michael. I see your contact information in the chat. We appreciate it. We have it. Anyway, seeing and hearing none, I would then end public comment and go on to new business. And under new business, first item is 2021 legislative agenda. And I would call on Deputy Mayor Hayden for a motion.
I move to approve the 2021 legislative agenda.
Thank you very much. Could I get a second from Councilmember Boteto?
I second it.
Thank you very much. I would call on our Communications Director, Carmen Palmer. Go ahead, Carmen.
Good evening, Council. Carmen Palmer, your Communications Director. And before you tonight is another important document, not quite as important about the budget. I'm not even going to touch that one with Cassandra, but also a very important document, and that is your legislative agenda. Looking forward to the state session that will start with the new year. The agenda that was in your packet kind of tightened some language, tried to clarify things a little bit from the version you saw at study session. For the viewing audience, this is a document that tells our legislators in different levels of government, particularly state, how the choices before them in this session affect Sumner. This is quite a powerful document, not to toot my own horn, but of this work, but things like the Traffic Avenue interchange, the funding for that came from previous legislative agendas. So we have found the power in being very clear, very precise with our asks to the council, to the state legislature does bring good results and things that we can actually drive on right now. That's very exciting. So the first three items on the agenda are very specific to budgets. They are about transportation, projects because Traffic Avenue was just one of 3 interchanges, actually. The next one we would like to look at 410 is 166 with design. Also the Stewart Road Bridge. The White River Restoration Project, big project that brings both flood protection and enhancement of habitat to our community. And we are on a recommended funding list for that project. And then the third one is a parks project. It is the covered play shed at Rainier View Park that would extend the usability of that court, both in function and in length and availability throughout different weather types. And we are on a funding list for that one. Also included in your agenda is broader topics. And on those, we're less specific because those are topics the entire region is grappling with. And we like to acknowledge them and have those noted so that we can join those conversations as it seems to fit. But we don't have very specific asks on those, not the same as the front page, which is the 3 main topics. So I wanted to keep this high level, but if you have any questions, of course, let me know.
Thank you very much, Carmen. Okay, questions, comments from council members on their legislative agenda? Okay, Councilmember Hochstetter, I was trying to follow that hand or that finger. Okay, go ahead.
It's hard to do things in reverse for some reason, but Ms. Palmer, this is very nicely written and I really like it. It's concise and clear and easy to follow. So thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, Councilmember Hochstetter. Other council members? Other council members? Okay, seeing none, I'd like to thank the council for their input when we went over it at the study session. We took all that and made some adjustments to it, and you know, Carmen did her normal magic in terms of working with words, which is in which she excels. So thank you very much, Carmen. Okay, is there, seeing no other council comments, is there anybody that is either on the Zoom call or listening into the meeting through the Zoom link would like to address the council on this issue? Please either raise your hand or press *9 if you're calling in. Okay, seeing and hearing none, I would ask Michelle to please call the roll.
Brown,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Potato,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Hochstetter.
Yes.
Okay, legislative agenda is adopted unanimously. Thank you again, Carmen. Okay, it brings us on to ordinance number 2760, which is the 2019-2020 final budget amendment. And I would call on Councilmember Reed for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move we adopt ordinance number 2760, the 2019-2020 final budget amendment.
Thank you very much. Can I get a second by Councilmember Newman?
I second.
Okay, thank you very much. I would call on Chief Financial Officer Cassandra Raymond. Cassandra.
So I know we're all excited about the 21-22 budget. We've spent a lot of time on that, but we still have to show some love to the 19-20 budget. And so before you is ordinance number 2760. This is our final budget amendment for the 2019-2020 biennial budget. The 19-20 budget was adopted by ordinance 2665 on December 3rd of 2018. So it has been with us for a while. And as we're approaching the end of that budgeted biennium, this final budget amendment gives staff the opportunity to review our changes in estimates, capital programs, and operational work plans. We spent some time doing a careful review of where we were at with our budget, where we were at with our work plans, and identified revisions to the 19-20 the biennial budget. The revisions include adjustments to operating and capital expenditures, as well as revenues. My thanks to our Finance and Personnel Committee. In early November, we went through the final budget amendment line by line with the Finance Committee, and then we reviewed it at a summary level with the full council in study session. So In the final budget amendment, we have an increase of revenues throughout the funds of $528,200 and an increase in expenditures of $1.4 million. In our general fund, we will be recognizing additional funding through our CARES program for the COVID-19 pandemic response, as well as some additional support of the Facilities Capital Fund and the Cemetery Operations Fund. In our special revenue funds, we are recognizing an additional expenditure in our tourism fund. Our capital funds, we're recognizing some support from the general fund to help offset design of our public works operations facility. In our utility funds, that is a larger number than the other funds. Really what that is about $718,000 support of the public works operations facility design. And the remaining are reallocations between both capital projects and operational needs to redistribute our resources. The revenue we see in our other enterprise funds, that's recognizing support from the general fund to the cemetery fund. And then in our internal service funds, we had some additional cost in our information technology activity. A good portion of this was responding to the COVID pandemic. And you can see the increase in the expenditures and then the revenues coming in. As an internal service fund, we take that increase and we parse it out to the various user funds. And so that's included. So I'm happy to answer any questions on the final budget amendment for the 1920 biennial budget.
Thank you very much, Cassandra. Okay, any questions or comments by council members? Councilmember Reed.
Thank you, Mayor. And once again, Cassandra, I want to say thank you. Especially in Finance Committee, it was great the way that you and Jeff were able to break down the movement of funds and the allocations, reallocations, and so forth, taking what looked like just a bunch of numbers and actually helping it make sense. So really appreciate that from everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Reed. Any other council members, questions or comments on this particular issue? Wow, seeing none. Okay, I think we still have some attendees. And I would ask that any of the attendees that are either on the Zoom link by their laptop or their computer or by phone, like to address the council on this issue, either use the raise the hand feature or *9 if you're calling in. Okay, seeing or hearing none and seeing no more council comments, I would ask that Michelle please call the roll.
Reed?
Yes.
Hochstetter?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Tato?
Yes.
Hayden?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Very much.
Thank you.
Our final budget amendment is passed unanimously. And again, thank you very much, Cassandra. Outstanding work getting us all to understand it.
Thank you.
There you are. 2 thumbs up from Councilmember Brown. There you go. Okay, that brings us to reports and reports by the City Council. I'm going to start out with Councilmember Newman. Okay, Councilmember Newman. Now,
You're going to regret that.
I also have the ability to mute you.
I have 4 things, 2 items of recognition and 2 issues to bring up. Briefly, during COVID, one of the silver linings or upsides is when you find people who give more than you knew. And I had the chance, as many of you know, to do bubbles over Main Street. And through that experience, I happened to meet Regine Spencer, who many of you know, but she's a retired teacher. I did not come up through the school system, so I did not know her. This stranger to me reached out, wanting to know how she could actually help contribute bubbles and provide her fair share because she walked under them and enjoyed them all the time. It's been a while, that's over, but she has since reached out and asked about helping neighbors of mine and other people looking for like Christmas lists that she can actually help provide diapers and toys and whatnot for. I want to do a shout out to her because I'm just so like, those are the things that give me like pleasant surprises. And apparently she's a community staple. I just didn't know it. To me, she was just like a saintly stranger. The other one I'm more irritated about acknowledging, and that's Councilmember Peterson. When she announced her that pretty soon her last meeting was going to be coming up, most of you said very nice things about her. I texted her and I said, I'm going to wait until your last meeting to say nice things, because right now I still hate you. And it turns out that actually hasn't gone away. I would like to thank Councilmember Peterson for raising, I feel like I'll speak for myself, but maybe others, my level of awareness and sophistication of thinking. She has a rare combination of an understanding of how both land use issues and human services issues all like come together to help better an entire community. And I mean, you always have to appreciate, it's kind of like fantasy football. You always have to appreciate someone who roots for an underdog, and Melanie always represents the underdog. She is always driven by community interest and not political ambition. And she doesn't take sides. She thinks about everything independently and fairly. I think that a lot of people probably assume, like she and I share very similar values. And I think because of that, people probably assume that she and I always land in the same place all the time. And they'd probably be surprised at how often we don't. But for that, I am definitely forever grateful because she always makes me a smarter person for it. I am going to miss her, and she and her family have, like, I have heard her kids speak at school functions before and whatnot. Like her and her entire family, I think, will be missed and have left a tremendous mark on the city. Melanie, I thank you and I hate you. And then the two issues quickly. One is, Mayor, I want to thank you. So tomorrow, County Council votes on Stewart Road funding. That has been a 20-year battle. There is no way that that would come up without the mayor's good relationships with many of the county council members. Truly believe that. And so I'm thankful for that. And that is the only reason why I have held off in emailing the county council members directly. That's my segue into the other issue. And that's the health board. In case you guys aren't aware, and this is more for a lot for public viewing, there has been a last minute county council proposal to either for the county to take over the function of the Tacoma Pierce County Health Board and put an end to a 30 to 50 year relationship and partnership. Currently, the health board has a medical professional on its board, and it also has Mayor Pat Johnson from Buckley to represent small towns. And under their new proposal, it would be it would become a more political department under the county only, and would remove any sort of medical professional seats on the board, as well as small town representation. I'm not asking any of you to get involved in any way. That's entirely up to you, but I did want to raise the issue both for you and for anyone watching. Know that I will wait until after Stewart Road is approved, and then I will weigh in more heavily because I'm deeply, deeply, deeply concerned with a last minute problematic proposal. Anyway, thank you. Sorry, Mayor, it's your fault for picking me first.
No, none of those was surprising to me, Charlotte. they weren't. Okay, I'm going to move across the board. Councilmember Hochstetter.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight in public comment, we had some business owners and managers from our manufacturing and industry center come and present what is really a real problem. but I want to thank them for presenting it civilly and respectfully. With the way they did it, they respected the professionalism of our staff and our council. And I feel very confident that they will get the attention to this matter that they need. And then I want to thank the staff for giving me that confidence, because I know that we will have people who will listen and understand their problems and solve it to the best of their ability and help these businesses through their problems. So also, bye-bye, Melanie. I'm really sad you're leaving. You've been a delight to have on the council. You always make me smile when we used to sit next to each other. That I don't know if anybody else can ever take your place on that. I'm hoping that your new move is just as successful as you hope for, but you'll always be missed here. So continue to communicate when you can. And I guess I don't know what else to say, but you'll really be missed. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hochstetter. Deputy Mayor Hayden.
Yes, Melanie, good luck on your new adventure with your new family member and everything you're doing, and you will be missed. And you always brought the other side of an issue that, you know, some people didn't even think about, and that was much appreciated, really was. So good luck and enjoyed that. I also want to thank not just, you know, one or two of our staff members for hard work. I want to thank all of our staff members for a year of great work and just bringing it home. And I know COVID has been difficult, but everybody has just pitched in and done their best. And I'm so proud of our employees and our staff members. So thank you to all of you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. We'll go on to Councilmember Brown.
Yeah, Melanie, thanks for everything you've done. I agree with Ms. Hayden about your perspective on things. And I wish you the very, very best. I'll be using umbrella and you'll be using snowshoes. All right. Bye-bye.
Oh, how true on that one. Councilmember Potato.
Yeah, I want to wish Melanie well, as you miss that you are already back in the snow country probably, but you have challenged us, you know, with making us look at issues with a different light than probably what we are used to doing. So I appreciate that. And I know that you'll be missed. You know, I hope we didn't, sometimes we maybe didn't always agree with you, but we did, you made us switch our thinking over time. So, and then I wanted to just talk about, you know, at the study session, we had the Downtown Association or the Main Street Association come, and I was downtown on Saturday and was surprised, pleasantly surprised at how crowded all the stores were. And, you know, it was like, oh, almost had to wait outside to get in. And then the fact that many, you know, we still have the outdoor seating for restaurants. And I think that's a good thing because people do want to get out, even though, you know, we're discouraged from getting too close to each other. But anyway, it's all, I hope in the next few weeks that we'll be getting to where we can open up the businesses more. So anyway, thank you and best of luck, Melanie.
Thank you, Councilmember Potato. Councilmember Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't really have a lot to add that hasn't already been covered other than Melanie, just best of luck to you and your family with your new adventure and wish the best for you.
Thank you, Councilmember Reed. And last but not least, we get the final parting shots and comments from Councilmember Peterson.
Thank you so much, everybody. It was really nice to hear that. And it's definitely great that we didn't agree all the time. It helps me too. So thank you for that. This was absolutely the hardest part about moving, not taking 4 dogs and a cat and 5 people across the country, not 5 real estate transactions. It was having to leave this position and leave all of you. So thank you for everything. I really appreciate it. Best of luck on choosing my replacement. I'm sure they'll be great.
Thank you very much, Melanie. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to City Administrator Report. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, so a few things. Next week's study session will be our last meeting of the year. So we're going to be getting an update on the current Main Street Visioning project. Also an update on the South Sound Housing Affordability Partnership in conjunction with the Sumner Bonnie Lake Housing Affordability Plan. Also be giving council a debrief on the pandemic expenses to date, including the CARES funding and how that money was spent. And then we'll also be continuing our education series for diversity and equity. A little bit different. You'll get the videos ahead of time. I ask that you please review those so we can have a conversation about them next Monday. And that's to avoid some copyright issues. So you'll get those via email by end of day on Wednesday. And then, like I said before, just a reminder, the December 21st and 28th meetings are canceled, which brings us to our next regular council meeting, which will be January 4th, 2021. Couple items of note on that will be selecting our deputy mayor as well as a RCC board appointment. Some personnel issues. This Friday will be wastewater treatment superintendent Anthony Vendetti's last day. Anthony is retiring after over 33 years with the city and will be extremely missed. He also just received a Lifetime Achievement Award for his work over the last 33 years, and that's from the I'm going to mess up the acronym here. It's for the wastewater treatment group for the region. So some other issues, just want to also share my thoughts about Councilmember Peterson's departure. You know, for me personally and the senior management team, we've definitely appreciated her leadership. Her values and perspectives help make us better at what we do and the residents that we serve. So I wish you luck, both in your personal and professional endeavors. Also, as noted, with her departure, we will be going through the appointment process for a new council member. Please visit our website for details on that. Applications will be accepted December 14th through January 12th. And other than that, from all your staff, have a safe and happy holiday season.
Thank you very much, Jason. Just some quick comments, just confirm what Charlotte talked about in terms of Pierce County Council action tomorrow. I will be addressing the council and expressing my desire that they approve the interlocal agreement for the funding for Stewart Road Bridge. I mean, it's been, like she said, 20 years in the making. And, you know, the frustrating thing all along is that we know there were some process issues when they entered into agreement. They didn't get that ratification by the county council, but we relied upon their word. We relied upon their word to annex the area and assume the responsibilities for that corridor, and that corridor which they put in place initially. And that's the frustrating part over the last 20 years, is to not reach any successful conclusion. So hopefully we will this time, and by this time tomorrow night, we'll find out. We still have one subsequent action, and that is a budget amendment. Just like you're doing with the existing budget, they also have to make their budget amendments too. So hopefully it will go well. You all talked about, or some of you talked about staff and complimenting staff. I've said it in the past, I'll say it again. I wouldn't have run for this position if it hadn't been the fact that I felt on a pound for pound basis, we have the best staff around. And this comes from, again, from over 40 years of being one of those staff members and working with other staff members, and looking at the staff members we have, the number that we have, and seeing all that they get done. It is truly incredible. And you should all be very, very proud of the fine staff that you have. They are awesome. And then finally, on to Melanie, and because a lot of us, myself included, are uncomfortable sometimes with disagreement. Okay, it's not a comfortable thing. Differences, they're not comfortable, but they're not only a good thing to have, but they're a necessary thing to have, especially if you're going to have good governance. We have to address the differences of opinion, the differences of thought, the disagreements we have, and find a pathway through that ends up with the result that is that benefits from all those differences and disagreements. And if there's one thing that I've appreciated with Melanie is her straight up, straightforward ability to bring them right to the surface. So they're staring us, in the face, so that we consider those items, so that when we end up at the end of our destination for any particular issues, is that it is a better thing. So anyway, so thank you very much. Wish you well. You're going to have a lot of stuff going on here, and boy, that just makes me tired. But I'm glad you're at the age you are, and you're able to take all that on. Bless you, and you may be filled with many blessings on your journey. So anyway, thank you, thank you. There is no executive session tonight. I know you're all really disappointed in that one, and so this meeting is adjourned at 7:18. Be safe, everyone. Okay, be safe, be safe, be safe. Bye-bye.
Bye, Melanie.